Good evening, and again, welcome to the part two of this tropical update. Again, we're going to be focusing on mostly three of the seven systems that we're monitoring across the Atlantic Basin, with a few smaller mentions of the rest of the areas across the Atlantic Basin. First and foremost, we will be going to Hurricane Paulette, which is making its way towards being a major hurricane. As you can see here, it is pulling away from the island of Bermuda, which this hurricane has completely wrecked through the island of Bermuda throughout the early hours of this morning, throughout today. But now the winds are starting to decrease here in Bermuda, and the tropical storm warnings, the hurricane warnings was downgraded to a tropical storm warning, and the tropical storm warning has now officially been discontinued for Bermuda. Uh, the Bermuda government, the Bermuda Disaster Management, as well as the Bermuda Regiment, among others, are doing assessments in Bermuda to assess how bad the damages were and whatever assistance Bermuda might be needing. And again, that assistance will likely be provided by the UK government, the UK military, which has a task force in the Caribbean for this exact matter. Again, we'll continue to monitor this very closely, but just to quickly mention here the advisory details on Paulette, that as of the advisory was located at 34.5 north, 63.8 west. That's 34.5 north, 63.8 west, or 160 miles north-northeast of Bermuda. Maximum sustained winds now at 105 miles per hour. Present movement off to the north-northeast at 15 with a minimum central pressure of 965 millibars. Again, as per mentioned, the warnings have now been lifted for Bermuda. Again, hurricane force winds extend outwards 160 miles, with tropical storm force winds extending outwards 195 miles from the center. Again, it is noted that gusty winds will persist through Bermuda, though decreasing as we do go through the hours. Storm surge will be decreasing for Bermuda as we go through the evening. Rainfall is expected to continue through the evening, but again decreasing. They are still expecting 3 to 6 inches of rain. Of course, swells by Paulette are still affecting the northern Leeward Islands, the Greater Antilles, Bahamas, the East Coast, and obviously Bermuda. This will continue over the next few days, though easing for the Leeward Islands, the Greater Antilles, and the Bahamas during the next day or so. Now we will move on to our next feature that I'm going to mention, and that is Hurricane Sally. Now this here is a very dangerous situation that is building up here in the Gulf of Mexico. Hurricane Sally could potentially be a major hurricane when it makes landfall on the Gulf Coast. So do please take this hurricane extremely serious. Very, very serious. We're talking about a potential landfall location anywhere from Mississippi, Alabama, Mississippi, or Louisiana for a potential landfall with regards to this hurricane. Obviously, just to quickly mention before going to the advisories, we do note that around the eye we do have these convective cold cloud tops, or these hot towers that are really starting to pop up now on this hurricane, indicating that this system may indeed, in fact, still be rapidly intensifying. Again, this morning, this was a tropical storm. Right now, a Category 2, making its way towards a Category 3. So just to note, as of the advisory, location was 28.8 north, 87.4 west. That's 28.8 north, 87.4 west, or 105 miles east of the mouth of the Mississippi River, or 145 miles southeast of Biloxi, Mississippi. Maximum sustained winds are at 100 miles per hour. Present movement is off to the west-northwest at 6 miles per hour, with a minimum central pressure of 987 millibars. This system will be a very slow mover and getting even slower as it makes its approach towards landfall. So obviously, not only wind risk, but also severe risk with storm surge and rainfall expected from this hurricane. And just to note that as such, we do have storm surge warnings, hurricane warnings, and tropical storm warnings in effect. We have a storm surge warning in effect for Port Fortune, Louisiana, to the Oskaloosa-Walton County line, Florida, Lake Pontchartrain, Lake Maurepas, Lake Borgne, and Mobile Bay. Hurricane warning, Morgan City, Louisiana, to Navarre, Florida, Lake Pontchartrain, Lake Maurepas, including metropolitan New Orleans. And of course, tropical storm warning in effect for east of Navarre, Florida, to Indian Pass, Florida. Again, hurricane force winds extend outwards 25 miles from the center, with tropical storm force winds extending outwards 125 miles from the center. It is noted that hurricane hunters are currently flying into this hurricane, and again, we'll be finding out more details about this hurricane later tonight. Again, want to point out the important facts here with regards to impacts towards land, especially when we talk about storm surge and rainfall. As we could see here, some decently high numbers, especially for the low-lying areas here near the mouth of the Mississippi River, the metropolitan New Orleans area, Lake Borgne, Pontchartrain, Maurepas, down to Ocean Springs and up to Dolphin Island. All these areas pretty high up. Of course, Lake Pontchartrain and Maurepas being a little bit more sheltered. The heights won't be as high, but still a concern nevertheless. So again, look closely at these areas here for any of the interested areas that you have. Again, noting that the storm will be generally moving in this sort of a direction towards landfall, or potentially even a landfall direction, say this way, or potentially even a landfall location this way. Wherever the onshore wind flow will be the area of which the highest of surge will end up going. Of course, if we do end up with a further north system landfalling, of course, that will be up along here. If we go more central to, say, Mississippi area, of course, that'll be Ocean Springs to the Alabama-Florida border here. And if it goes further towards the west, say through the mouth of the Mississippi River, Port Fortune, Lake Borgne, Pontchartrain, again, metropolitan New Orleans into Louisiana, again, that storm surge action will definitely move its way into here and become a serious problem for that area. Again, noting that the system will be very slow upon moving into land. The next biggest risk will be the rainfall. And as you can see here, pretty much the whole entire southeast is going to be at some sort of risk for some rainfall out of this system here. So again, the heaviest of rain being just west of Florida here, into the Alabama, Mississippi area, possibly maybe reaching into the far, far southeast region of Louisiana. Again, it'll also be very much dependent on where this system makes landfall. And of course, just to mention the flash flood risk potential over the next 5 days. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually split this video instead of into 2 videos. I will be splitting it into 3 videos. This one mainly just covering Sally and a bit of Paulette. The other one will be covering Teddy and, of course, the other few systems that we have out there. So catch you on part 3.